Welcome back to The Suitor. I'm Anthony, your host, and today we're recapping what happened last week in the world of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. Elizabeth visited the newlyweds, Charlotte and Mr. Collins, observing how Charlotte manages her unromantic life with the pompous Mr. Collins through practical tolerance and clever household management. And big news, Mr. Darcy surprised Elizabeth with a marriage proposal. He confessed his love, but also expressed his struggles to accept her family's lower social status. How did Elizabeth react to our suitor's awkward proposal? She rejected him. Elizabeth was disgusted by Mr. Darcy's snobby attitude, but she was also angered by his role in separating her sister Jane from Mr. Bingley and his involvement in Mr. Wickham's misfortunes. In his defense, Darcy wrote Elizabeth a tell-all letter loaded with juicy details. He explained that he dissuaded Bingley from pursuing Jane because he believed Jane's affections were not as deep as Bingley's. He was just watching out for his friend. Even more revealing, though, he shared the shocking truth about the deceptive Mr. Wickham, who really had squandered away his inheritance, then attempted to elope with Darcy's little sister for her fortune. Mr. Wickham was no victim after all. This plot-twisting letter has now prompted Elizabeth to reevaluate everything. Is she so biased she misjudged our suitor based on first impressions? Is Mr. Darcy possibly the suitor she's been looking for all along? Wow. With all this drama and so many storylines packed into one novel, there are so many different questions to be answered, and we're only halfway through the story. How can we possibly keep up with all the storylines, and why do they matter? Well, I've got a strategy that can help us answer these questions, and we'll learn all about it right after this. Welcome back to The Suitor, where the evolving relationship between Elizabeth Bennet and her potential suitor, Mr. Darcy, forms the central storyline. However, this main plot is enriched by multiple secondary storylines, featuring a cast of many different characters. These additional storylines are crucial. Not only do they influence the progression of the central plot, but they also help to develop key themes of the novel. Remember, Austen didn't just write this for fun, she's making a larger commentary on gender roles in the Regency era, and her themes were pretty radical for the time. But in a story full of so many different storylines, how do we keep up? Well, when you stop to summarize the different storylines, it can help you keep track of the important ideas, so you can think about how they enrich the central plot and themes. One common method for summarizing a storyline is the somebody wanted, but so, then strategy. Most characters with a storyline of their own have unique desires, motivations, and conflicts they face. They want something, but an obstacle appears in their way, so they respond to that obstacle, and then something happens as a result of their response. As you read this week, you'll start to see more of the secondary storylines play out. But so far, two pretty important secondary character storylines have reached their conclusions, so we can practice using this strategy with Mr. Collins and Charlotte. Mr. Collins. Remember him? He wanted to marry Elizabeth, but what obstacle appeared in his way? That's right. Elizabeth rejected his proposal due to his pompous and arrogant nature. So, how did he respond to that obstacle? Well, he proposed to her best friend, Charlotte, instead. Okay, we know what he wanted and how he responded to the main obstacle in his way. But then, what happened as a result? Charlotte accepted his proposal and they got married. We've now captured his whole storyline in an easy-to-follow summary. Mr. Collins wanted to marry Elizabeth, but she rejected his proposal. So he proposed to Charlotte. Then she accepted and they got married. I wonder how this type of summary would work for Charlotte's storyline. Let's give it a try. Charlotte wanted to get married to ensure her future security and happiness. But what obstacle got in her way? How did she respond? And what was the result? Pause the video while you think it through, and I'll be here when you get back. What did you come up with? I'm thinking Charlotte wanted to get married, but the only proposal she received was from the pompous Mr. Collins. So she had to choose between her happiness and security. And then she accepted his proposal, choosing social and financial stability over romantic love. Okay, now that we've got a handle on these two secondary storylines, let's think about how they connect to the bigger picture. First, how does Mr. Collins' storyline impact the central plot of our protagonist, Elizabeth? By proposing to Elizabeth, Mr. Collins gave her the opportunity to examine what she does and does not want in a spouse. She was able to stand up for her individual values, even though they differed from the expectations of society and her own mother. Without Mr. Collins' storyline, we would have missed out on this crucial character development for Elizabeth. So, how does Mr. Collins' storyline connect to a central theme in the novel, such as the pressure of societal expectations? I'm thinking that Mr. Collins' storyline directly emphasizes the theme of societal expectations by offering Elizabeth a chance to defy them. His proposal, while advantageous by societal standards, allowed Elizabeth to assert her own values by rejecting the notion that financial security should govern marriage choices. Even though Mr. Collins may not be a main character, his storyline plays a pivotal role in Elizabeth's development, and also in the development of the central plot and themes of the novel. But what about Charlotte? How does her storyline connect to this central theme of societal expectations? Pause the video while you think. I'm thinking Charlotte's storyline also connects deeply to the theme, because her decision serves as a poignant counterpoint to Elizabeth's. Observing Charlotte's practical approach to marriage forces Elizabeth to directly confront the realities of societal expectations. It solidifies her resolve to seek a partnership based on mutual respect and affection, rather than society's expectations. This contrast between the two friends' choices highlights the theme of societal expectations by illustrating different responses to the same pressures, and it reinforces Elizabeth's determination to chart her own course, despite the prevailing norms of her time. The multiple storylines in Pride and Prejudice are essential for adding depth. They influence the central plot and help develop key themes. This week, keep a close eye on Mr. Wickham. Now that we know the truth about him, things are going to get interesting. As you keep reading, you'll see many more secondary storylines unfold. As you do, stop and summarize these using somebody wanted, but, so, then. So you can think about how that character's storyline connects to the bigger picture. Ask yourself, how does this character's storyline impact the protagonist's storyline? How does it connect to a central theme of the novel? We'll keep asking the big questions and helping you stay on top of all the action right here on The Suitor. We'll be back next week for all the pride, prejudice, and scandal you can handle. Hey!